Ever seen a vacation flip from dream to disaster in minutes? Picture cruising down the highway. Then your RV suddenly turns into a smoking money pit. Today, we're counting down 13 American RVs that promised freedom, but delivered pure regret. 1. Clark Cortez, 1963 to 1968. The industrial experiment gone wrong. Kicking off our list is the Clark Cortez, proof that just because you can build forklifts doesn't mean you should build motorhomes. Back in the 60s, the Clark Equipment Company had a bold idea. Slap together a compact RV with front-wheel drive, a flat floor, and a sleek unibody frame. Sounds futuristic, right? Well, it was until you had to drive it. The Cortez came with a 4-speed manual transmission that felt more like wrestling an industrial gearbox than cruising down the interstate, paired with a sluggish 140 horsepower slant 6 engine. This thing climbed hills like a tired tortoise, and when something broke, which it did often, finding parts was like trying to locate a unicorn with a wrench. There's even a tale of one poor soul who bought a lovingly restored Cortez, only for it to catch fire within the first hour on the road. Nothing screams, "Welcome to RV life," like watching your investment turn into a highway bonfire. 2. 1972. Winnebago Brave, bravely leaking. Next up is the 1972 Winnebago Brave, an RV that looked like it belonged on a postcard but handled rain like it was allergic to weather. At first glance, it was the American dream on wheels. Affordable, friendly-looking, and perfect for middle-class families chasing sunsets. Then the rain came, and so did the leaks. Water snuck in through the roof, windows, and just about every seal it could find, turning your cozy road trip into a damp, moldy nightmare. The smell? Let's just say no pine-scented air freshener stood a chance. And it wasn't just the water. The V8 engine under the hood struggled to haul the Brave's boxy frame up even mild hills, while the interior aged like milk. Cabinets warped, upholstery frayed, and everything seemed to fall apart way too soon. Even models decades later still had water issues. Brave? More like brace yourself. 3. 1988 Toyota Dolphin. Small package, big problems. The 1988 Toyota Dolphin looked like a genius idea on paper. Take Toyota's famously reliable pickup, slap a cozy camper on the back, and boom, you've got the ultimate compact adventure rig. Except reality had other plans. Right off the lot, the Dolphin was dragging more weight than that little 4-cylinder engine could handle. Merging onto highways felt like a trust exercise with fate. Hills? Those weren't just terrain. They were mood killers. The fuel economy was laughably bad for a vehicle that looked like it should sip gas. Inside, things didn't get much better. Space was tight, insulation was a joke, and you'd hear every gust of wind and every bump in the road like you were sleeping inside a tin drum. Sure, it was small enough to fit anywhere, but after a night or two, most folks realized they didn't want to be in it at all. 4. Chevy G20, camper van. Identity crisis on wheels. The Chevy G20 had one job, haul cargo, and it did that just fine. But somewhere along the way, someone looked at this dependable delivery van and thought, hey, let's turn it into a camper. And just like that, the G20 became the ultimate example of why not everything needs a glow-up. Inside, things were no better. Hot in the summer, freezing in the winter, and loud enough to hear your regrets echoing off the tin walls. It wasn't quite a van anymore. And definitely not a camper, just stuck somewhere awkward in between. 5. 1981. Fleetwood Pace Aero. Arrows missed their mark. Fleetwood's Pace. Aero looked like a winner. Spacious, stylish, and powered by a beefy V8. But behind the shiny brochures was a leaky, poorly insulated headache on wheels. For many owners, the only real journey was watching their patience and their bank account slowly drain. 6. 1977. Dodge Chinook. Small dreams, bigger disappointments. The 1977 Dodge Chinook sounded like a minimalist's dream. Small, efficient, and easy to maneuver. But once you hit the road, it quickly turned into a lesson in mechanical limits. Built on a Dodge van frame, it just couldn't handle the extra camper weight. And what was supposed to be a relaxing getaway felt more like a test of your spine and your sanity. 7. 1992. Fleetwood Bounder. Pushing boundaries of patience. The Fleetwood Bounder might have gained pop culture fame in Breaking Bad, but for real-life owners, the drama started long before any meth labs. This RV had a knack for turning every trip into a troubleshooting session. Electrical issues? Constant. water leaks practically part of the floor plan. While the Ford chassis underneath was solid, the rest of the build felt like an afterthought. 8. 1994. Thor. 4 winds. When 4 winds blow cold. The 1994 Thor 4 winds rolled onto the scene looking less like a home away from home and more like a rolling utility box. Its boxy, uninspired exterior didn't exactly scream adventure. It sort of mumbled budget, rental. Step inside, and the charm didn't improve much. The layout was serviceable, but the materials felt like they were picked for price, not comfort. Thor would go on to earn a reputation for cut corners, and the 4 winds played a starring role in that legacy. 9. 1980s, Atasa Sunflyer, flying too close to the sun. The Atasa Sunflyer of the 1980s didn't just miss the mark, it fired in the wrong direction entirely. Space was tight, and not in a cozy, efficient way. More like a can't turn around without bumping something. The Sunflyer may have aimed high, but it ended up stuck somewhere between retro eyesore and mechanical migraine. 10. 1988, Coachman Leprechaun, no pot of gold, here. The 1988 Coachman Leprechaun looked like it was built by committee, one that couldn't agree on anything. Its tall, narrow frame gave off a constant, about-to-tip-over vibe, especially in windy conditions. The real magic trick? How fast it made fun and value vanish. 11. 1970, Winnebago Brave, the original offender. The 1970 Winnebago Brave wore its goofy eyebrow front like a friendly smile, but behind the wheel it was a different story. The cheap interior materials didn't help either, aging faster than your last pair of sneakers. Calling it Brave might have been a cruel joke because anyone who owned one needed actual guts to keep it on the road. 12th, 1967, Dodge Explorer, exploring mechanical limitations. Next on our list is the 1967 Dodge Explorer, a motorhome that promised grand adventures but mostly delivered frustration. Poor ventilation and paper-thin walls meant summer trips felt like a sauna session, and winter rides were closer to a mobile icebox. Instead of hitting the open road, owners often found themselves getting very familiar with every small-town mechanic across America. 13. 1970s, Dodge Travco 270, the egg on wheels. Wrapping up our list is the 1970s Dodge Travco 270, a motorhome with an egg-shaped design that made people either love it or wonder what the designers were thinking. Sure, it looked aerodynamic, but inside those curved walls, usable space was a constant puzzle, with awkward corners and storage spots that seemed to disappear into thin air. Handling was a gamble thanks to weird weight distribution, especially when the wind picked up. And if you ever needed to peek under the hood, good luck. Getting to the engine felt more like a circus act than a simple checkup. Travco proved that being different isn't always better, especially when different means a repair nightmare waiting to happen. These 13 RV disasters taught the industry hard lessons, shaping the reliable, comfy motorhomes we have today. Next time you spot a vintage RV deal, remember, it's not just the price that matters, but the journey and sanity you save. If you enjoyed this ride through RV history's worst, hit like, subscribe, and buckle up for more road trip stories.